And here we are once again with another episode of the Uncanny Spirits Club, and I'm continuing my pick six beer picks. It's actually a pick three, I guess, since I have half the pack, but close enough. The last episode I did the Neapolitan from Breckenridge, I believe, and it was very chocolate and not much of anything else. This isn't a specific kind of flavor profile like this one here, but it is pretty interesting. Um, this is Einstock Olgerd. My accent probably leaves a lot to be desired. Wee Heavy, and it is clearly Viking inspired. It's even actually, now that I look at the can is tartan, and I didn't think about that. You guys see that? It's tartan colored, so that's cool. And it is a Scottish ale brewed with angelica root and smoked barley. And so that's interesting. I didn't realize that when I picked it up off the shelf. I saw it was a Viking thing. I saw it was called the Wee Heavy, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. But I didn't realize it was actually a Scottish ale, and that kind of makes me happy because I like that. So we're going to give this a try. I don't have particular expectations for this like I did with the Neapolitan because it's not something like that. It's just some whatever it is rather than being specifically supposed to be Neapolitan ice cream flavored. It smells decent. It smells nice and clean. I'm going to pour it in, and we are not going to spill it on ourselves this evening. Why am I saying we? Because I'm feeling royal, I suppose. I don't know. Learn your grammar. Or I could learn my grammar, which is pretty poor. Take my own advice. So there we go. It's a nice color. It looks a lot darker on the camera than it is here. It is pretty dark, but it's like a deep, deep, deep orangey red. Very dark ruby, browny red there. On the camera there, it looks like it's black, like a stout, but it doesn't look like that in person. I can just barely see through it if I hold it up to the light here in the house. So nice bit of foam on the top. Smells good. Smells creamy. Kind of citrusy. So let's see how that goes. That's the Wee Heavy from Einstock Olgerd. It's very bright. It's bright. It's creamy. You can taste the barley. It's very similar to other Scottish themed ales that I've had before. One of the best Scottish ales I've had is from a local brewery up here, actually just north of here, called Missing Falls. And I have reviewed theirs before. And it was really good. It's probably one of my favorites. There's another one I get. The Murphy's is Irish, isn't it? Or is that Scottish?
It's Irish.
I don't remember. Oh, it's Irish. There's another one. There's a Scottish one that I've gotten in tall cans that I don't remember the name of now off the top of my head. And this reminds me of both of those. It's not as good as the Missing Falls, but it is pretty decent. I'm not entirely sure I would know Angelica root off the top of my head, but I feel like this has kind of a certain taste to it that it gives me a sense of what Angelica root probably would taste like. There's probably just a bunch of nonsense, but that's the impression I'm kind of getting. But I like it. It's a very bright flavor. It reminds me a little bit of a lager, but with much more flavor. It's not hoppy like a lager or a pale ale. It's definitely got that barley taste to it. Almost a little buttery, sort of like a sweet butter, kind of. A sweet butter on like a like a mildly sweet roll, not like a sugary roll, like a cinnamon bun or something like that, but like a sweet biscuit of some kind. But decent. I like it. I do like it. And I've always been a fan of the darker, heavier beers anyway. I'm not usually a fan of lighter beers in general. I like a few here and there. And again, we all know my search, pardon me, my search for a good IPA, which has been a failure thus far. But I do like this. I would probably get this again. I'd have to see if they had, conceivably, that they would have like 6-packs or something, some sort of multiple pack of these for it to end up in the singles shelf like it did, because that's what all of the pick sixes usually are. It's all stuff that generally didn't come in as one unit. It came in as part of a pack, and for some reason they had to split the pack, either because one of them ruptured, or there was a problem with a can or a bottle or the box, or somebody stole it, because that does happen. People reach in and they steal things. But so they split up the rest of the pack and they put them on the shelf as individual because they can't sell it as a unit anymore. It's easier than discounting the entire unit. You instead just chalk it up as a loss, and then you put the individuals as part of your pick six and charge a flat price for all of it. So it makes good marketing sense. But yeah, I like this. This is pretty good. Once again, this is the Einstock Olgerd Wee Heavy Scottish Ale brewed with Angelica root and smoked barley. And there's a bigger picture of the little Viking iconography. I don't know. Iconography. That's how I usually say it. I don't know what it is. The grammar is, again, pretty sketchy over here. But it's funny coming from a liberal arts student back in high school. But yes, that's what this is. I'm kind of filling up time now because YouTube, in the long term, when I eventually get everything monetized, they're going to want any video to be past 8 minutes, and we're just a few seconds away, so I'm padding out my time. I hope you don't mind. It's like 3 seconds now, and there we go. Now we have an 8-minute video. There's marketing for you. But yeah, I got this as part of the Pick 6 from my local grocery store, which is 6 random beers or ciders or whatever in individual cans and bottles for $10 or $11.99. I don't know if the price has gone up. I think it's still $10.99. It might be $11 now. Everything's gone up. But conceivably, if you were to buy a 6-pack of this on its own as a self-enclosed box or unit, then it would be probably within that price range, because generally all the things there are going to be pretty close to that. So this could be $1 or $2 lower, or it could be $1 or $2 higher, but it's close enough that if you were to mix multiple things, that all comes out on average to $10.99. So there you go. There's the Wee Heavy Einstock Olgerd, and brewed by Einstock Beer Company in Stratford, Connecticut. Okay, so there you go. That's it. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Until then, of course,